in one way through. وَطَلَبْنَا الْكَرَامَ فِي الْخَلْقِ, and we search for honor in the creation, but it is with Allah. So anyway, this father came home. His son said, "Daddy, can I speak to you today for 2 minutes?" Listen to this, brothers. I need your undivided attention. I've been saying many things with regards to contentment across the hour that I've been speaking to you. "Dad, can I speak to you for 2 minutes?" "Okay, quickly talk, man. I'm busy. I got to sign documents. I got some goods coming. I just need to know how much do you earn per hour?" "Look, what's wrong with you? Why do you want to know how much I earn per hour? What has that got to go? Do your work, man." "Dad, I'm asking nicely, how much do you earn?" "To make you happy, I earn $20 an hour." "Okay. Could you perhaps be kind enough to borrow me $10? "No. Every time I'm giving you money, it's enough, man. Go from here." Gives him one slap and sends him off to sleep. The son goes away. Father is tired. There was another youngster came to my house. He was depressed. I promise you. One young boy came to my house one day. He asked me, "Maulana, do you have a dua for depression?" I looked at this boy. I said, "My boy, do you know what does depression mean?" A boy at your age, 10 years old, do you know what is depression? This was another incident, a fairly grown-up youngster, must be in his 20s. He came to me. These were his words. He had some problems in his life. He says, "My mother is terminally ill. I can't talk to her because she is very sick. My father is a stressed individual." These were his words. "My father is a stress. There's no way I can take out time and engage in a healthy discussion. You know, fatherly to son. The dad, these are the problems. Can we negotiate? Can we sit down? Can I have some input? Can we reasonably address the matters at hand? I need some input. I need some advice. My father is a stressed individual." Now what happens to this young boy who is vulnerable to vices? His parents cannot take him. The mother terminally ill. Tragically, this has happened, which happens in all families. The father, because of the mounting pressure of his business circle and because of the crave of materialism which has blinded him. Anyway, the boy goes and he says, well, that's it. He goes to sleep. As the night sets in and regret dawns upon the father, he says, "No, I think I was rude to my son. I don't think it was right." He comes and he taps his son. He taps his son. Subhanallah, it brings tears to my eyes. He wakes him. "My son, what's it, my son? I'm sorry. I was tired and you came to me at the wrong time. Forgive me for what I did. But what is it? What do you need? $10. Here's it, my baby. Have it." So the father takes out a $10, gives it to him. He lifts his pillow. He has another $10 there. The father says, "But my beloved, you have $10. I'm happy to give you. Why do you want it?" سَيَظِلُّ عِبْرَةً لِمَنْ أَرَادَ. He says, "Dad, it's been months, if not years. I haven't sat with you. I haven't eaten with you. I know money means everything to you. I thought I will save up money to buy 1 hour so that I can eat with you. I haven't eaten with you. I haven't seen my father. I'm living like an orphan in this house. And I know till you don't make your money, you won't come home. So I've been saving up money. And I thought if I can just get that other $10 and perhaps try and, attract you with that and say that, Dad, here's a $20. Please come home early tomorrow. We want to have supper together." It was enough for that father to be reduced to emotions and sentiments. He sold that business. But really, brothers, let us take this message to heart. What good is there in that wealth? If it has deprived us of our social life, if it has deprived us of our life with Allah, may Allah Ta'ala favor myself and one and all with divine contentment that we have enough time for both deen and dunya. May Allah Ta'ala inspire us with the true tranquility which He has promised in Quran and Hadith. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Appearance reminds you about Allah. His external appearance, the manner in which He presents before you reminds you of Allah. I think the first point was taken and was quite well absorbed and understood. وَزَادَ فِي عِلْمِكُمْ مَنْتِقُهُ. And when He speaks, when He articulates, when He mentions, then your knowledge of Allah, your consciousness of Allah Ta'ala increases. And the third point, which perhaps was ambiguous or vague, which the brother has asked about, وَذَكَّرَكُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ عَمَلُهُ. His actions, His display, the manner in which He conducts Himself reminds you about Akhirah. How conscious He is, how meticulous He is, the manner in which He conducts Himself, His honesty, His integrity, the fact that He is conscious of accountability. If a person lives a life, with no scruples, with no values, with no morals, then this is a clear reflection that he is not conscious of the perception of accountability. Allah Ta'ala says with regards to those that cheat in their dealings, أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ. that because they cheat and they commit the act of fraud in their dealings, immediately the Quran goes on to say, after cursing them, woe be to those who deal in fraud. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ. Are they unaware that they will be resurrected? يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When humanity in its entirety will converge and will be accountable to Allah Ta'ala. So the third point in the hadith, perhaps if I may explain it again, is that this person's actions reminds his friends of akhirah. The manner in which he interacts with his friends and with his colleagues reminds you of akhirah. The next question was also with relevance to the topic on friends and befriending. What if I have my friends that I grew up with all my life, but they are not pious? Do I sever ties with them, or isn't it wise? And perhaps this is answering the question himself. Or isn't it wise to be friends with them and help them to choose the right path? Many of the youth are facing these adversities. Sheikh, I want your honest opinion, and instead of creating enmity, it could guide us in the correct way. I think the point the brother has raised is very relevant and very topical, and it is a dilemma that many youth face. Of course, the question is how much spirituality that each person has in impressing that and transmitting that very piety onto others. Of course, that is our duty as Muslims, that we become conscious of Allah Ta'ala, we become pious, and we transmit that spirituality onto others. This is the ultimate goal and object that should be in the life of every person. But more than often we find in situations like this, we get sucked and pulled in that environment, and we get influenced instead of influencing. It is well and said and done. It sounds very rosy, and theoretically I think everyone would agree, and that would be the ideal situation. Ideal situation that yes, you could perhaps go there and take them out of that evil, introduce them to the correct without it influencing on you. But like it is always said, that when you sit with them and you associate with them, then some influence of that definitely rubs onto you. So I think it's not a general ruling that should be advocated, that severe ties or maintain ties. I think every situation is going to be identified independently. And if a person can see he has friends, and alhamdulillah gradually he is working on them, and they are bringing about a change, and he is starting to interact with good friends, and by him socializing with them and them getting exposed to his reformation in life is bringing about a change in them, so why not? Gradually bring them into the company of the pious with whom you associate, and like the question phrases it very well, that if you sever, the chances of them going deeper into sin is there. So naturally that is not the object, but at the same time not at the expense of sacrificing one's own reformation. More than often we find a person sits with those that smoke and he starts smoking. A person goes out with friends that womanizes, and he perpetrates the same crime. So if he could bring them into good environment and keep contact with them on occasions where he understands he is not that vulnerable, then by all means, and that should be ideal, but not at the cost of sacrificing his own reformation. Of course, this question could there could be much more that could be said, but just briefly, that is what I would like to contribute. The third question asked here is, and very briefly we're running through them. You mentioned in your talk that a father has absolute access. I think again, like Dr. Munir Al-Qasim mentioned, again it's a choice of words which perhaps give off a certain notion and perception, but nonetheless you mentioned in your talk that a father has absolute access to his son's wealth. In the case where a father demands access to wealth, but the wealth is abused, that is wasted on gambling, is it still sinful for the son to refuse giving the wealth? Jazakallah khair for your talk and guidance. The hadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, we know, La ta'ata li makhluqin fi ma'asiyatil khaliq. There is no obedience to the creation at the cost of the displeasure and the disobedience of the Creator. I think this is quite basic and simple, that وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. That assist in matters of good and do not assist in matters of evil. As obligated and as dutiful we are to our parents in matters that conform with Shariat. That particular Sahabi, Sa'ad radiallahu anhu, after accepting Islam, and his mother vowed not to eat